days that music is so much louder than the old one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Stat Check. I am Innes Wilson, and I am joined by Anthony and Nathan for the second time ever. That's totally a true statement. You should definitely not fact check that. This is a formatting error. This is going to be our, let's say, the first of our very long series of what will be very team-focused episodes, as we had a few team events this weekend, the American Championship and the Northern Worlds Summer Teams, I think it was called, which I was at, so we'll have a little bit of chat about that. We also saw lists for the Warmasters GT go live and lists for the WTC go live, which is very important for one of us and maybe a second of us, as long as you can get some behind-the-scenes things sorted. So anyway, I'm going to start, as always, with a very, very interesting question. Hi, Anthony. I'm an old CSM looking to get better with the new book. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get those Ws. I exclusively play Night Lords and will not change. I must take at least 6 implantory dots, but I won't shoot them because I want to use them as mutilators. I don't want to use Abaddon because I don't think he would fight with the Night Lords.
It's suffering every time. You know what's worse is that I read it the whole way through every time. I don't know, but there's been a lot of variations today, so I have to keep an eye on it.
See, I just loved changing little things just to make it like a little different for you each time. Yeah. Change it over to the Alpha Legion. Give it a good switcheroo.
Worse than that copy pasta that's designed entirely to troll me has been Art of War's Chaos tier list.
There was also the one person in Art of War Discord who responded to Innes's question seriously.
He was also joking.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I had been making similar jokes with that person earlier.
That's better to know because I was like, oh no, don't fall into this pit.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that would have been bad. So anyway, how's your week's been, respectively?
Who do you want to go first?
Nathan.
I didn't really do very much this weekend. I painted some sisters' minis. And then I played a couple games against people. Played one game against a local, and then I played against one person who's on the Luxembourg WTC team, which was fun. So I got to try out Sisters for the first time, and then I got to play with 18 Tyranid Warriors into a Gene Stealer cult list, which was very not kind. Oh, thank you, Hellstorm Wargaming. That's very nice of you to say.
Thanks, Mikey.
Nathan, it's a very nice voice.
Innes is fighting the shadow demon in his curtains.
I mean, fair. I mean, I'm glad that my 2 shadow demons are currently asleep on the cat tree behind me.
That's nice.
The curtains are the only thing protecting me from the hate orb that is outside, because all that this week has been is misery.
Yeah.
I understand. I wish you had air conditioning with which to survive the hate orb in the sky.
Yeah. But if you don't look at the hate orb for too long, it makes you sad. So it's a struggle.
We also don't look at the hate orb, it also makes you sad because vitamin D is good for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Anthony, what did you do this weekend?
What did I do this weekend?
I don't remember.
Lots of stuff. I went to a cool museum up in Massachusetts. That was cool. It's like an art museum. They took a what used to be a factory, and it's 12 buildings or some wacky nonsense. Mass Mocha, I think it's called. Nice. It was super fun. I went and did that with my girlfriend, and then I did some list writing, played around with Emperor's Children. I got to throw down with Seth Oster's Orcs last night. He was playing 120 boys. Most of them were dead by turn 2. It was not good. Nope. Beast Snagger boys. It's not good yet, guys. Maybe one day, but today is not that day. At least not against this. I don't know. Maybe Emperor's Children is really hard for combat lists. So
yeah, when I played into the Emperor's Children with the Sisters list, I had 9 Zephyrum bounce off of a unit and then just get clobbered to death in response by the Emperor's Children.
Yeah, they do.
It's a real danger.
Yeah,
you should consider not bouncing off of units. I hear it's much better for you.
Well, I did that during the Sunday game when everything murdered everything, and then just wouldn't. There was just nothing left by the end of turn 4.
You were fighting Jesse, right? That's the life, dude. Those boys have bad saves.
I mean, there was a Biovore stuck in combat with some neophytes for 3 turns.
That's where Biovores like to be, right?
I mean, he killed one neophyte, and then he killed another neophyte, and then there was just one neophyte left, and then the neophyte managed to kill him. It was quite something.
Yeah,
let's go neophytes. Yeah. Kill those 4-wound models.
Rise
There's
up.
always the one model in turns that I'm like, this really should be 5 wounds, and it's not.
It's one of those models where you're like, oh man, you hit on 4s. Oh man, you have AP1. What are you doing, bud?
No,
He's
I
a
certainly didn't mind them being 4 wounds when I managed to drop a Carnifex, beating a squad of 3 of them once. It's like, let's go Venom Cannons. Carnifex out of a pod caught direct line of sight on 3x4. So it's like, hell yeah, let's do this.
Sense, dude.
The game was also a case study on that 9-man bricks of Tyranid warriors with enough buffs on them are basically unstoppable.
Yeah, there's very few things that go through those boys quickly.
Yeah, I played. I'll talk through my weekend in a little bit. But I played against a Dark Eldar player who took a lot of killing. I'll go through it a little more specifically when we get onto the event itself. But yeah, so for me, I was at the Northern Warlords team tournament this weekend, it was 22 teams of 4. I went down with a couple of guys from Team Scotland, Chris and Matty, and also a friend of ours from the Netherlands, who was Martijn, who was actually the captain. He just happened to, like, through a repeating chain of like people dropping from his team, just kept picking up people from Team Scotland, because it was like, well, somebody's dropped. Do you know anybody who can join? Yeah, my teammate. And then somebody dropped. Do you have anybody who can join? I guess my teammate.
Yeah, this other guy. Yeah.
So we ended up going down to that. I think we went two wins, one loss, and 2 draws, which is optimal for staying in that nice little mid pack. We lost to one of the England teams, drew with one of the Welsh teams and the other English teams, and then beat 2 of the random teams we played. So not unhappy with that. And top individual with 18 Tyranid warriors, scoring 5 points a Tyranid warrior on average. That's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah, how you do it.
Yeah, I took a 10-10 versus New Necrons, so when we get to talking about stats, New Necrons will definitely come up, and then smashed through the rest. But the game against Drakari was definitely the most fun. In the turn 1, I just put my whole army into like this squad into this raider, because you had to set up like a chain of raider ready to jump on me. Sacrificed the front one and what the stuff inside it, so I ended up killing the Blood Brides and the Succubus, and then everything else jumped out of the second ones and charged 18 warriors, which was 10 Incubi, a Squad of Grotesque, Strazar, the Fight Last Archon, the shooting from a Radar, the shooting from a Ravager. And all combined, they overkilled the Squad of Warriors by 3 wounds with everything.
Oh,
It's just like, and now the whole thing is sitting right there in front of the other squad.
Oh, man.
And that was
It's
basically...
like, you only get to do that once, buddy.
Yeah, that was basically what happened in the game against the GSC. Was the Patriarch, 10 Gene Stealers, and 10 Metamorphs charged 1 9-man of Warriors, and the 9-man of Warriors only lost 3 people.
Yeah, 5 up with Transhuman is a hell of a drug. I don't know if you'll remember Plague Bearers, but when they're better, they're better.
Yeah. They also kill you.
Yeah. When they actually have an offensive clapback instead of just standing in space and not dying.
I mean, there was that one cute combo where you could get Plague Bearers up to damage 4, AP 0, but
Yeah, baby. AP 0.
when I played Triple Tesseract Arc into it, genuinely terrifying. It's just like, you're going to fail 3 of saves eventually, buddy.
You will. I hate when something's AP dash, but its damage is super high. That always makes me angry.
It's just the most tilting thing in the world. Because like, you're playing Demon G, you're like, oh, they're not wasting anything on this AP. Or then you play a real army and you're like, oh god, if I fail this 2 up save, I'm going to suffer so much.
Yeah, it really sucks. Terminators feel a lot like that now, because like a lot of the stuff that's like higher damage tends to not be like crazy high AP. So you're just like, oh, what's up? And then you roll like a couple too many 1s and 2s, and you're like, my dudes.
No, I failed 1 save, and that's half my squad dead.
Yeah.
No, and then there's always the stuff that's just like, yeah, you got shot by a hammerhead. Just pick 2 guys up. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, those always sting. I prefer when they just miss. That's my favorite.
That is the ultimate place for hammerheads to be. No, this is why we bypass the whole hit and wound roll and just play zoanthropes, right, Anthony?
That's right. It does work.
Okay, we are going to give Nathan just a second to come back here before we jump into the main topic for the day. He's back. That was not even a segue. That was like the wheel of a segue.
Yeah.
I did it just to make it hard for you, Ennis. That was the entire purpose of it.
That is deeply appreciated. I really do love it when you do that for me.
He does need help with that.
Okay, shall I do the vague bits of housekeeping stuff?
Yeah,
That's
that should.
probably a good thing. This is Stat Check with this is our brand new show / network / content feed / 40K
Website?
40K Factory website thing. There is a bunch of different things that we do here. So one thing, as I'm sure you'll all be aware if you're here, is we do a YouTube live stream once a week. That is on Tuesday nights at 11 p.m. UK and their times.
5 p.m. Central Standard. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
6 Eastern. I was thinking. We almost got there.
This is why Anthony's getting math lessons, which
Yeah.
is something we can talk about
It's
later.
not going to help with the fact that my brain needs loading sometimes, but yeah.
Anthony's brain only has 6 megabytes of RAM.
Yeah.
You can also find us on all good podcast feeds and aggregators. We're on Spotify now. I believe we're working on getting on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all the usual places. So if you are listening to the podcast, we also do deeply appreciate you. Also, you can find us at stat-check.com, where you will be able to... I'm laughing at chat. No. Ad read. Where you can find such wonderful things as the 40K Meta Dashboard, which is a tableau maintained by Cliff. And you can also find the CRS and ELO ranking scores, which maintains a database of competitive 40K players' win rates in 25 plus player 5-round events, whether that's based on purely ELO, so how good you are compared to the person you play against, or ELO also weighted by faction. And those are both maintained by Jeremy, also known as Curie on the internet. So those are the things that you can find from us.
The first one's cool, the second one's lame.
Yeah, Anthony's doing a lot worse than the one where it's not weighted, where it's weighted by faction.
Just a solid 30 places further down the board.
That's right, baby.
Turns out when you actually weight it by faction, Anthony's not that good.
No, just not. It's true.
Just in the top 50 of the world.
Yeah,
Only.
exactly.
Just in the
Not
top
that
50
good.
instead of the top 10.
He's in the top 5.
Yeah. Also, I'm in the top 40 the other way. So.
And he's also not at all bitter about either of those things.
No. He definitely
it's okay,
didn't.
my CRS is about to be really high.
He definitely did just short man me with his height, though, where he actually wanted that half an inch extra. So he had to clarify that he was in the top 5 and then he was in the top 40.
I'm surprised he's not been like, I'm top 32. Where are you? 30 seconds.
That's right. Yeah. We can't all have a 4-digit ranking number, Nathan.
It's true. Is it only 4? Yeah, it is only 4. You're right.
There's only 4 digits in the ranking system, period. So
yeah, we capped that at like 7,000 players.
Oh, did we? I don't know. I've never looked all the way at the bottom of it.
Isn't that how you usually find yourself?
No, I usually find myself right in the middle at the average.
Oh, that's fair. It's true.
That is true. Yeah, but Anthony's beating Nick, and that's what really matters.
It makes it really hard to make fun of Chris on the podcast, though, when he's up that high. I need him to drop a little bit further so that I can make fun of him again.
It's fine. He lost at Works this weekend.
What the hell?
Never mind. Chris, what the fuck?
Oh, no, he plays Blood Angels. That's fine.
No, it's still not okay.
Fight on Death kill rigs are a drug.
That's fair.
One that I think Blood Angels have a severe negative reaction to.
Yeah, Fight on Death. That's like everything they hate in one spot. That's Fight on Death transports. What the hell?
Fight on Death transports with -1 damage.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good.
Okay. That'll do for the housekeeping thing. We do have a Patreon. I'll plug it at the end when we've earned it a little bit more. Stick around if you want to hear more details on that.
So I guess we can talk about the stats this week.
That's where we're going next, yeah.
Sure. We can talk about all 3 of the events that happened this weekend. So there were team events. We'll talk about some of that. There were only 3 singles events this weekend, so we're not really going to touch on a whole bunch of stuff today. There were 3 events. The Gong Hammer GT, which is in West Wollongong, Australia, was won by Death Guard. The Warhound, which was in Utah, was won by Orcs. And then the Orange County Classic was in Westminster, California, and was won by Necrons. There were only those 3 events, so the number of games to go into the statistics for analysis wasn't very high, so we don't have like a super great picture of what Nephilim is shaping up to be, but it does overall so far, based on not so many games, only 3,355 thus far when we parse out from the 3rd of July weekend for just the books that use Nephilim. It does look a little bit healthier. Our lowest faction is at 40, and then our highest faction is at 60.5.
That's
Yeah.
better.
It is a lot better. So that's like the situation with the Nephilim pack overall. A lot of people have also been saying that it feels better in the competitive environment generally. No, I'm wrong. Nephilim's worse.
They can feel however they want. We
No.
just disagree. That's
I mean, that's fine too.
It's allowed.
Yeah.
Right. The top placing faction from a win percentage, although not winning as many GTs as of late, is Tyranids. We're at 60.5. Then you have Sisters just 1 percentage point below them at 59.5. So they're starting to trend towards being potentially a problem moving forwards. At one of the events that I talked about, there were 3 undefeated. That's at Gonghammer. There were 3 undefeated factions. Death Guard did win the event, but 2 Sisters also went undefeated at 5-0 for that GT. After that, we have a long fall of 3% to Harlequins, who are at 56.8%. You know, perfectly balanced, totally dead. Possibly more balanced, I suppose, than they were before.
Yeah. Closer.
Then we have a pack of a couple factions around 50. So you have Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights at 51 and 52. Thousand Sons at 52. Oh, I forgot Gene Stealer Cult. Gene Stealer Cult have a 58.1% win rate so far, but are still probably not a particularly good faction. They're still not winning any events.
58.1 seems disturbingly close to what, like 5 out of 7 or 4 out of 7 is. So
yeah,
they are
is that like 10 out of 14 or something like that?
Yeah, they are the least played faction currently at like 1.2%. So that makes them the least played mono faction from a book. Yeah, not including all the various Marines.
8 out of 14 is a 57.14 win rate. Is it 50? Is it like all right about that?
Yeah, they've won 18 games and lost 13.
It's so garbage.
31 games total out of that full data set makes them very low play rate. Other than that, we still have Chaos Marines kind of struggling to make a name for themselves at 41.2. Other than that, the lowest faction from a performance standpoint is still Astra Militarum.
Have those Chaos players considered running Harken Wall Claimer more?
I hear they're supposed to spam Chosen.
For context on this one, Art of War, in what appears to be a Tuesday tradition now, released a new Chaos Space Marines tier list that appears to have been designed purely to trigger Anthony. Hence the statements in the beginning of the show.
It's something that we'll talk about a little bit later during the meta-analysis portion of the show. The only other stats portion that's all the stats for this week, guys. Unfortunately, there's not like some kind of groundbreaking development. There's not a lot of overrep to talk about because it's just 3 events, and I'm not going to bother to do that analysis on just 3 events. Sisters are something to keep an eye on. Necrons are at 48.2%, but they are doing really well at events. So maybe there's just a big spread on performance for people in the Necrons faction player base.
People who've discovered the good list, people who haven't?
I honestly think it's just people who have not discovered that they can't just sit there, and that they may occasionally need to do stuff. Every now and then they may need to do something and not just sit there digging holes occasionally. I know. It's
wild.
The Americans are flat out. You can't take R&D banners into the last. What are you even doing with your life?
What was it earlier? It was Bonners, Stronghold, and To the Fast.
Yeah. Except it's really to the slow because you don't want to go anywhere.
You need to be fast to get away so that those units can survive, right?
That's fair. So that's all the stats for the week, guys. Hopefully next week we'll have more stuff for you. The rest of this, we're probably going to be talking about, I think, about team events and some breakdowns of faction representation and team events that are coming up, in particular the WTC.
The main thing is that we now exist to be perpetual hype beast for the WTC for the next 3 weeks. So you're going to have to just, if you don't want to listen to that, I don't understand why you're here in the first place, because you wanted to listen to us for some reason. So,
and 2 out of 3 of us are participating in the WTC, probably.
3 out of 5, kind of, because Jeremy's going to be there as well.
Most likely.
Most likely. So most 50, likely, 60% of us will be participating.
If anybody has a really good contact to the American government for getting passports, now's the time.
Yeah, please let me know.
Somebody help Anthony get his passport.
The State Department has decided I'm too powerful to leave the country, so
You are quite dense. You might cause the airplane to tilt on.
Maybe they were worried that your playstyle is just too European. You won't want to come back.
That's true. I had someone tell me that. Yeah, that's the thing I was told today.
Chris has the correct reaction in chat, which is, "Oh no, Anthony! Oh no, please." That is basically the reaction that we have to Anthony
In general.
Yeah.
Anthony Valnella, as it was said in our private Discord chat.
Valnella, dude.
Losing his passport. All right, Ines, since you're a team captain, do you want to tell us a little bit about the WTC and how it's run and why we should give a shit?
No, I think it'd be more fun if we made Anthony do it as somebody who's going for the first time. Probably.
Potentially.
And has never explained it on any podcast show ever.
No, yeah, it's good. So it's basically a format where the Europeans get to convince themselves that they're better, regardless of context. Even though that the Americans spend zero time planning for it all year, they get to just dunk on us because they're going to, because we're 8 singles players in a trench coat pretending to be a team. So they're going to windmill slam us into a garbage can in a thing we don't play and then be like, haha, you guys suck. But the upside of it is actually that most of the best players in most of the countries get to go to a single spot and play against each other, and that part's really cool.
And also, you guys have been hardcore sweating it, so back off on that one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Lennon is like on record as saying that I've been holding back from playing in singles, so I can practice for WTC.
That's a good way to say that I am a professional gamer and flying is expensive.
That's also fair.
Yeah.
So, Ines, would you like to add anything to Anthony's explanation of how WTC works?
Maybe
a little bit about how the scoring works.
Maybe how it actually works.
Yeah, maybe
is an 8-man team event designed as an ego trip for the UK, who gets to have 4 teams for some reason.
That's true.
Representing 1/7 of the field and 1/12 the wins.
Yeah.
Because all of us are garbage except England.
As long as he's admitted it.
It's true.
It's fine. This will never come back to bite me. So WTC is an 8-man teams format that is held currently in Mechelen, Belgium, for the next 3 years. It is 1 team per nation, quote unquote. Speaking as the representatives of the grand country of Scotland, well known for being a country.
It is for sure a place.
It's for sure a country under some definitions of the word.
It's definitely a territory.
It's definitely it is a country. We're just not our own country. Should work. You guys should work on that. Just like declare that you're a country within the United States, but still part of the United States. That's what you want to do.
That is how the state system works.
Yeah.
No, because you just called them states, not countries. That was your mistake.
You fools.
It's true.
You fools! If you had just called yourselves the United Countries of America, you'd have had 50 teams.
It would have been way easier.
It would have been way worse.
It would have been a lot sadder if you guys all had to split up into 5 different teams. If you had to split up into 50.
If we could just be coasts, America would be fine.
Hey.
What?
Hey.
There's nothing between the coasts anyway. Just corn and cows.
There's a whole metropolis between those 2 places.
I don't think that based on what I've seen from 40K event results, that's not true.
Look, I can't be held responsible for the competitive community in the Midwest.
Yes, you can. You're not improving it.
What do you want from me, Ennis? I am one man.
More wins.
He's probably improving it just through doing this show because they can't get worse.
That
doesn't say very much for me.
So anyway, so WTC is 8-man teams. It is a very, very interesting event in that it is generally represented by somewhere in the region of 6 to 8 of the 10 best players in the country, and then maybe a couple of flex slot players like Anthony.
That's true. Someone's got to.
Am I making this bad?
For some countries, it's the people who can afford to go.
For some people, it's the people who can afford to go. For some countries, it is the people who want to go because not every country is interested.
Yep.
It is unfortunately not going to be streamed this year, which is the saddest thing I ever heard. But that doesn't mean that you can just follow us for a bunch of content on it. We will do a new segment, and it tries to name all 50 seats. I'll make that a bonus content section. That sounds like really low effort. I'll just do a Sporkle video. Like, that's fine.
Do it.
Yeah.
How does pairing and scoring work in the WTC tournament?
Yeah, so let's do the fun bit. So pairings broadly works on an attacker-defender system. So each team will go through an alternating process of putting one army out as a defender, and then each team picks, and then the other team picks 2 of their remaining 7 players to pair into that list. The defender then picks one of those 2, and then a table, and they go off and play on that. Then you repeat that a few times, and then at the end, whoever the 2 armies that were not paired down play each other, and whoever the 2 armies that were rejected in the last round play each other, and that gives you your 8 on 8 tables. And then each team plays the other team using the 20-0 scoring system, which is a differential scoring system based on 5-point increments. So the first 5 points is a draw, and then every increment of 5 points thereafter is +1 to your total points. So if you win by 5 points, that's a 10-10 draw. If you win by 15, that's a 12-8 draw, and then and then increases every 5 points after that until at 51 points you win a 20-0, and that's the maximum you can score. It's capped after that. The broad strokes of that is what it means is that there's no actual requirement to win games to score points. So like you would have in a singles event where, if you score 100 and your opponent scores 97, there is very little material difference to you in how the event continues to play out, unless you lose a game and they beat you on tiebreakers, which has definitely happened before. That one sucks. I recommend not losing games to avoid that.
Yeah.
In the WTC, every point that you can possibly score matters. What that means is you can do things like take lists that are not designed to win games. You can take lists that are designed to win games 20-0. You can take lists that are designed to draw games or scrape points off of anything. There's a concept that we've been playing around with, which is basically just called racing to 50, which is the second you hit 50 points, so 40 points scored, 10 points repeating, you cannot be 20-0 anymore. In your worst matchups, find a way to race to 50. Yep. And there are some armies that are very good at that, which you might notice in the WTC team list. There's a lot of Necrons and Sisters showing up. Don't know if anybody's read their secondaries recently, but they're quite good at that.
You don't say.
No, definitely doesn't sound right.
Yeah. Necrons definitely don't just score 85 points every game.
They definitely don't score 85 points every game because sometimes you table them.
Yeah, they don't do that when I've played them.
They definitely score half their points on turn 1, though.
Yeah, them walking up and getting like 4, 5, 3 on the secondaries is always a little like...
3? Why are they only getting 3?
The 3 is the hold you out of quarters one.
Yeah, not if you play them in Conversion or Death and Seal.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, that's just if you go second, right?
Yeah, I know. But if you go first, I've played Necron 6 times in tournaments in 9th edition. I've never gone first, so I have no idea what happens when they go second. I just assume they deploy 6 inches farther closer towards me.
Your Harpies are not going to be super thrilled with that.
No. I when I played them round 1, I lost 25 wounds of Harpies on turn 1. And that was with the Silent King failing to wound twice.
Ouch.
Imagine not spending one of your like 12 starting CP on auto wounding with one of those. Damn it, Necrons players.
No, because he spent the 2 CP to reroll to wound his full squad of 6 destroyers.
But they start with like 4 or 5. Just use 1.
Dude started with 1. So
what?
Yeah. So it was
double Vanguard.
I think it was single Vanguard and a bunch of CP per game.
On what?
Oh no! Why was it so few CP? I genuinely couldn't tell you, but it might have been Vanguard Outrider or something like that. Genuinely, he had 1 CP starting.
What are you doing?
No. All I know is I got shot by 12 destroyers and 3 Annihilation Barges turn 1, and it hurt like hell.
Yeah, would do.
That'll do that. Yeah, that would do. As Anthony said, that will do.
Massive amount of fantastic Necron relics and traits. Yeah, he had Veil of Darkness.
That's it. That's the end of the Necron relic
list. I've seen people take the book like inspirational leader trait in Necrons. Like,
what, for Dice Storm?
But why?
I guess morale. I don't know.
No, it's got to be for Geist Storm. That's what you got to think, guys. Would I lose if I? It means that you got to roll double sixes to not be able to shoot whatever you want on Necrons.
No, it'd be 6-5, right? Would still work because they're -1.
Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, so it makes a 1 in 12 instead of a 1 in 6. It's probably worth a CP for one matchup or something.
Value.
Come on, man. Buggy players used to take that so that they didn't, if they accidentally lost 2 buggies in a turn.
Yeah, but
lose
with
a buggy 1 in 6
buggies,
times.
it made sense.
No, it
they were
didn't.
like leadership 6 or some nonsense.
If I lose 2 out of 3 buggies in this squad in the same turn, and then also roll a 6 on my leadership check, I'll lose the 3rd buggy. That's worth a CP pregame. No, shut up. Be better.
No,
Be better.
I refuse. Okay. Do we want to talk about Necrons and why they're good first? Now that we've gone way off tack on WCC, or should we talk
completely
about
back to the original topic and talk about
All right.
WCC?
All right.
Anthony, you're on Team America. Why do your team's lists all suck ass?
Asterisk. They don't all. Some of them are a little questionable, but whatever, man.
The reason our episode is called Formatting Error is entirely because of the United States national team.
It's not just the United States.
But it's mostly Brandon Grant's 7-page list.
That didn't help. Listen,
has Brandon Grant admitted fault yet on that, just out of curiosity?
I just work here, man. I don't know.
Because I saw a screenshot that was like, I submitted it exactly as the formatting demanded. And then I was like, I have a screenshot here of a 7-page list, buddy.
Yeah. All right. Fuck.
Come on, man. Dob your team in. Do it. I've been doing it all day.
All right. So listen, I don't know why that looks like that. I don't have a good answer for you. When do those points get taken off in the pods, right? We would lose those points.
No, tiebreakers, buddy.
Easy. It's fine. It's not even gonna almost matter. We're not gonna tie, and our pod should be straightforward enough.
Well, you're there. You're going X2. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I can do that, right? Like it's fine.
No. It propagates beyond you, mate. You're gonna track that.
No. That's not how that works. We're not gonna go X and 2 in our pod. That's not gonna happen.
Mate, did you not see Latvia's illegal Yanari list?
Listen, yeah, I did. I sure did. Listen, if Team USA goes X2 in their pod, I'll pay your plane ticket back home.
Wow, all £80.
Yeah, whatever. Listen, do you like a different bet? We could do that too.
I was going to say buy Innis half his weight in alcohol.
You can't afford that.
I was going to say relax. Calm down. I don't just work at Art of War.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm more slagging myself off for weighing a lot.
Yeah, I know. I got it. Though that was funny earlier when someone was like, "You probably weigh 2 like Anthony." You were like, "I probably weigh 2 Anthony's," and I told you what I weighed. You're like, "I don't weigh 2 Anthony's." No, it's not that bad. It's not gotten that bad yet.
It's not. Yeah, I know. I got another 6 weeks. I had 6 more weeks of lockdown. I might have been there, but
I mean, lockdown in this heat, you gotta have ice cream just to live, bro.
It's basically what it feels like.
Those whole sticks of butter are coming in handy to keep the calories up.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
So also
we got actual questions about Team USA. So I'm gonna answer these real quick. What I'm doing, I don't think.
Do you want to read the question first?
Yes, talking about what you were doing, what the hell happened to USA and their factions, and their faction players. It seems all over the place. I don't think I submitted anything too crazy.
No, he means why is Jack on Tau and
Jack won a super major as Tau. Jack in 9th edition is the most successful Art of War player at Tau in that house.
Okay.
Context isn't real.
Mark on Necrons?
Mark has played Necrons a fair bit in his personal time, apparently. And honestly, it's monsters and an army that does janky stuff that scores secondaries. That's not too far off of what Mark's good at.
Yeah, it just, when you look at it, it seems like everybody's playing everyone else's signature faction, is how I would have described it.
There is a bit of that, but my signature faction got stolen from me, so I don't have that problem.
Your signature faction is also 4 of the other players on that team's signature faction, right?
Not Blood Angels.
Yeah, I would have said that Jack would have been. I would have put as like the second most likely Blood Angels player, not Sean.
Yep. So I played Sean in a practice game.
And then Sean went, I'll be having that.
Pretty much. That's like removing a whole bunch of context in a lot of important conversations, but it's a way better story to say that I blew out Sean and then he stole my army from me.
Did you win your first game against Sean?
That was my first time I beat Sean, yes. I beat him a second time at Joelhammer.
So he beat him for the first time and he was like, can't be having that, must be the faction.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he was like, not again. And then I remember going over the profiles with him when he was getting ready to practice it. He was like, bro, these incubi fly. That's broken as fuck. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, Sean. So yeah.
So Tyranids.
Tyranids.
It's 6 mans to break everyone's brain.
Yeah, I thought I was free from Tyranids, but I'm not. 6 mans is just because I wanted extra venom cannons, frankly. Very often I found that like a lot of the times that I was like snowballing wins is because I was just butchering people with venom cannons on the way in. And the fact that I connected mattered, but not as much as the fact that most of the stuff I was getting to looked like Swiss cheese. And between that and the extra unit of Zoans meant that I could play the Zoans like super duper ballsy and just YOLO advance them next to the warriors. Because it's like, can't really shoot at the Zoans when you got all these warriors to deal with.
Dude, you could do that anyway. You just pop the Zoan in pair after turn 1 and it never matters.
Yeah, I learned that later in the play cycle. Yeah, I learned that
after submission.
I started doing that after ACO, or at ACO, actually, because we had that conversation about, like, I was like, I always feel like these guys aren't doing much. And you were like, advance them next to the warriors. And I was like, that seems good. And I started doing that at ACO, and it was really good. I got second at that super major. Yeah, as it turns out, you too can be good at Tyranids if you just talk to Innis. So yeah, broadly the list is solid. I ended up cutting Barb from it at the last minute to put Maw-Claws back on the Walkrent because I kept getting into endgame and being like, this guy's not doing much. And then I put Maw-Claws back on him and I was like, now he does a whole lot.
That makes sense.
Yeah, this is really good. Because the math on failing the spells that you need to off the neuro once you have the Barb is not super consequential either way, because I'm pretty much always putting his buff on him anyway. So the odds of you failing the spells on 3d6 drop at a +1 are so low that it's like,
yeah, but it's not 0, buddy.
It's not 0. I've triple ones twice, but the +1 wasn't saving me then either, so whatever. Yeah, so sure, it's not 0, but the odds are low enough that I'm much more comfortable having an entirely additional like melee unit that now destroys things. So he's really good.
You've also got another psyker in the form of the Tyrant, whereas if you're running one, having access to like that extra power slot as well can be quite useful if you're running less psychers, where Barb makes more sense.
He's also the Warlord, and he's a T8 2-up boy going on less wild missions than the Reaper, so I don't randomly fail that onslaught on triple ones twice and then lose imperatives for the rest of the game.
Dude, I lost imperatives on turn 2 against Necrons, and I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, that's bad, dude. That's not good.
Yeah, I got the invul turn once, and then it was like, no, we're done. I charged my Tyrant into Catan, popped the Harpy bombs on it to do 3 on it, put mortal wounds on the impact charge to put 3 mortal wounds on it, and then put three Reaper attacks into it, like 2 0 and 1s, explosives. I've got reroll 1s, got a reroll to wound. I've got extra attacks on. I'm going to try and kill this Annihilation Barge as well. Failed to hit once, failed to wound 3 times. Rerolled, got 1 wound, passed the save. Oh no, my tires just stood there in the wind.
So greedy. Why did you do that?
Well, if it helps, the other 2 attacks both failed to wound the Annihilation Barge as well.
What are you doing?
I would have done 1 mortal wound. I would have done nothing extra. So it didn't even matter.
Anthony, are you running double patrol then?
It is a patrol and a battalion.
Okay. And you're starting with... Are you starting with 1 or 2 CP then?
I start with 1.
1, okay.
Which is enough that when it's my turn, we go up to 2, and I can -1 damage if I'm about to get shot.
Not in round 2, you don't.
Yeah, whatever. Round 2 will be fine.
Are you playing round 2?
I don't know. I just said that out of hand. Of course I didn't look. I don't know that that's true.
Did you put Gene Stealers in your list?
It might
for
be
that
a
round
goddamn
too?
nightmare, Innes. I don't fucking know.
It's a lot more swearing this episode, in case people haven't
we
noticed
did
yet.
not lose that round. We drew that round. And me putting on that game wouldn't help, so it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter that much. That game more came down to the fact that everything I tried to do bounced. I entered with the 5 warriors on a squad of Scorpex to basically win the game, and killed 2 and 1 came back.
Good.
My warriors are all dead now. Fuck.
Yeah, bye guys. Yeah.
So, for the less informed audience, what are your 2 teams running at the event for factions?
I'll go first because I know them all off the top. I know you might have to check.
Oh, then Innes will go first. Yes.
Okay, I definitely don't.
My team has a Bloody Rose Sisters list. We have a Chaos Knights, which is a 110 Desecrator and 10 War Dogs, and Imperial Knights, which is 2/7. I believe it's Errant Crusader and 7 Armigers. We have a Hail of Doom list. We have my Leviathan Tyranids with double Harpy. We have people I'm forgetting. We have a Drakari Good Stuff list. We have an Admech Agrippina list with double iron, with 2 squads of 3 Iron Striders with las cannons and 3 big squads of Ruststalkers and 2 bricks of 20 little dudes and some other stuff I don't care about because it's Admech and the name is glossed over my head. And we have a Blood Angels list with 5 Centurions and the Sanguinor because we are mega snowflakes and we are the only team with either of those 2 things out of the 28.
Snowflake. Makes me so angry.
Good.
It's
not the guy who's still
Sanguinor,
running double Tyrant and not running Harpies in his Leviathan list. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
It's like you're running my list from like 6 months ago. It's so good of you.
No, this is basically what I was playing before, just the more warriors.
Yeah, but I noticed all the screamer killers are gone.
Yeah. Those guys didn't make it.
How about you, Anthony? What is Team USA running?
Team USA is playing Blood Angels, Bloody Rose Sisters. Siegs is playing like Admech stuff. He's playing as Agrippina, I think. Lennon is playing a Custodes build. He's running 6 Dreads, 3 Caladius.
He's running Knights, but but trying too hard.
Sure. I'm playing Tyranids. Mark is playing Necrons, like Rush Necrons with Catan and such. Jack's playing Tau, and Brad is playing Eldar. So, yep, bringing out the Hail, just again. Turns out nerfed Hail still pretty strong.
Still pretty good, yeah. We didn't cut Hail either.
Yeah.
I mean,
we looked at Harlequins and we were like, nah.
Harlequins are super good.
Just don't put this on vents, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because when you look at the breakdown, and I know Innes will correct me as I go because we did some math on the faction distribution.
I only know that Eldar was wrong. That's the only one I knew.
Well,
from the graph. Can we pull the graph up on the screen potentially?
You can.
Sure, I can do that. Give me just a second.
My laptop will melt.
I can share it. Let me minimize my stuff and then.
Who's not on? I don't know who this is referencing to.
You're on Nids, not on Eldar.
Me? Yeah. I'm on Nids, not on Eldar.
Right.
I've never played Eldar proper. I've only ever played.
I think you mean Stark Eldar.
Oh yeah, no, we're not taking Drakari at all.
We'll just zoom in a little bit for everybody. So in case you're not watching the live stream, I just pulled up a pie chart, which is my least favorite chart.
It's my favorite because it makes me think of pie, and
I mean it's fair.
You know you love pie.
And my entire bias against pie charts comes entirely from being taught how to do stats and make visualizations.
Yeah, this is not a good way to represent. This is not a good way to represent this data.
It's not, but that's okay. So this is the WTC faction breakdown by team. So what percentage of teams have specific factions? So 96% of teams have one sisters player.
All but one.
They'll have at least one. That's true.
Yeah. It's Latvia. Latvia don't have sisters.
86% of Necrons, which I believe is just 2 teams don't have it, or 3.
3, maybe 4, depending. I think it's 4.
Is it 4% per team? All right, that's good. I'll remember that from now on. Yeah. Tyranids, 86%. So again, the same thing. A lot of Marines, probably mostly Blood Angels. If you look
it's basically all Blood Angels. There's like a couple of Death Watch, 1 or 2 Salamanders.
I think I saw an Iron Hands, or maybe that was a list from my event this
Don't
weekend. I
think there's an
remember.
Iron Hands. There's an Iron Hands in the Warmaster. But
Oh, maybe that's
Yeah,
what it
we'll
was.
talk about Warmaster in just a second too, because I have counts and percentages for that as well. Because a lot of the people who are playing in the Warmasters GT are also playing in the WTC event. That's their same factions.
it's weird. It's almost like if you put an event on the days before the WGC in the same venue, people who are going to one go to the other.
Yeah. Tau is about a little bit over half of teams have a Tau player. Same with T-Suns and Chaos Knights. Eldar and Harlequins are basically on every team in it.
Yeah, the graph is slightly wrong on this one. If you're looking at the stats, it says 45% Harlequins and 48% for Eldar. It's actually 100% for the two combined. Every team has Eldar or Harlequins.
Okay. So yeah, you'll find the Eldari Codex in every single team in either the Harlequins form or Eldar form. I'm imagining that most of the Eldar is still Hail. 100% of the Harleys is probably Light. We can look at it later.
There's a couple of lists. I think Australia have the one that lets you advance encounters remaining stationary, which means you can battle focus after you advance with it. They're running that one with masterful shots, I believe. And then yeah, it does. It's you counters remaining stationary, and it just says you didn't advance. It just says if you make a normal move. And then I think England have a really cool Light and Hail of Doom list, which is mixed Harlequins and Eldar.
Nice.
Makes
And
sense.
then we do have Drukhari still represented quite a bit. There are some people playing Death Guard. They did win a GT recently, so they're not like a bad team, and they do have some good matchups into some stuff.
We're down at 32% for Death Guard there, so 1 in 3 teams.
Yep, 21% for Custodes, which is 1 in 5. 1 in 5 again for Admech at 21%. Then we've got Grey Knights at 20%. GSC at 11%, which I think is just 3 teams that are taking GSC. Guard at 7%, which is 2 teams taking Guard. And then 1 team took Orcs because 4% isn't accurate. It's like 3.57% per team. I'm going to trust Martine's math in chat and just say 3.57% per team.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, Guard, there's a 200 Conscripts and a Hellhammer list. I believe Italy is running that one, which is powerful gaming. GSC, there's a few. I think Eric Lathris from Oz is playing them. He's got like fairly standard. He's running like 30 bikes and 3 rock grinders, which is a lot of very hard to kill stuff for what it is that will score decent points in any game it plays. Death Guard, there's definitely some interesting builds there. The German one is particularly quite interesting. It's 3 squads of 10 Plague Marines and 3 squads of 5 Plague Marines, and then other stuff. But there's a lot of interesting innovations going on so far. One thing you will notice if you go looking through all the Tyranids lists is that not all of them run a Hive Tyrant, and it hurts me to my core.
There was that one list that was Broodlord Neurothrope.
Poland are running Broodlord Neurothrope and 36 Warriors. Germany are running 3 Neurothrope, 9 Warriors.
Well, that Polish list is also running 9 Zoanthropes, isn't it?
No, that's the German list. The German
That's
list
the
has
German
9.
list, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then we can look at the breakdown for the GT that's happening beforehand. I'm not going to present a pie chart this time. This time I'm going to present something even worse than a pie chart, which is no visualization. A generic Excel sheet.
Google Drive Excel sheet. Hell yeah.
All right. So what we've got is for the GT prior to the WTC event, you have 22 Sisters players out of 150. So they're 15% basically of that GT, which is a lot.
That's a fucking bunch. Yeah, dude.
That is a lot.
So many Sisters.
Necrons is 11.3. Thousand Suns 8.67. These are not in any specific order.
Can't believe Thousand Suns are that represented. That is genuinely bonkers.
It is a lot. Harlequins are at 11 and so are Tyranids. The interesting thing here to me is mostly because unlike other events, you don't have as many Space Marines players as you do at, say, like a generic GT or major. You do still have 15 of them, so 10%, and it is mostly Blood Angels. Blood Angels are the most represented book for the Marines. They make up 10%, so you do have Necrons and Sisters just kind of blowing past them. Then you do have a smattering of other factions. You got Death Guard at 5 players, Drukhari at 5, Imperial Knights at 5. You do have 4 Orc players, 3 Admech, 2 Custodes, and then 1 each of Imperial Guard, GSC, Imperium, and Chaos. Those are the soup factions at the bottom. So yeah, that's the GT.
Yeah. You will see a generic sort of flattening of the spread of armies at this one because a lot of people are there for WC, which means they will be playing their WC list, which might not necessarily be what they would choose to take in a singles. So that flattens the curve a little bit overall. But yeah, it's a good spread. I'm really looking forward to it. It is the Tuesday, Wednesday, and the Thursday will be for the top 8 or top 4. I can't remember exactly what the split is. So it's a 3-day event that starts on a Tuesday. So if you're midweek looking to follow along, that'll be on BCP. And we'll hopefully try and have some coverage. I'll have some on my socials for Twitter, which is this side. Yeah,
yep.
There. You can follow me on Twitter.
That week for Stats Check, we'll be running something a little bit different. So
yes, Nathan and possibly Cliff or possibly guests will be doing something live, as Jeremy, Anthony, and I will all be in Belgium probably.
Potentially.
Maybe. Otherwise, Anthony will be with me.
Otherwise, Anthony might be stuck in Scotland. Like, you know,
true.
No idea.
Other than that,
if I get on a plane, I'm going.
Yeah. One of the things
you can lose your passport in Scotland. That's what happened in Britain. That's happened to Val.
Oh, bad.
That's true. The one other thing to note about this is that not everybody is actually playing in the GT. I think Team USA, they're not letting their players play in the GT.
It's not letting. It's strongly discouraging.
No, Sean has not said anything to any of us, but Brad will show up in your hotel room if you play in the singles. So it is in no way, shape, or form a team decision, but Brad specifically just shows up in your hotel room. And
so Anthony's just going to sit and watch me play. I think that's the decision that was made.
The Art of War house is also going to be very busy teaching how to play 40K well at the event. So
I hope all of Team Latvia attend with no cards.
It's like a well done steak, dude.
Mm-hmm. And then speaking of Art of War, I do have something fun for us to talk about for 5 minutes. It's very blurry though. But we're gonna do it.
I like how you pulled the version that I pulled up that had a blue dot and everything I thought was sus.
I like this version too because it's a little bit easier for me to see what it is on my screen. This doesn't even include the YGWY, but that's okay. I think they got that mostly right.
I think it extends a little further to the right as well.
Does it? Oh, it does. You're right. Look at that. I probably should zoom out a little bit. There we go.
Hey, Anthony, explain your coworkers.
So
Dude,
in case
how does this keep happening to me?
In case everybody you should watch our show live so you can see our new and improved graphic sharing ability, which is really just me sharing my screen online. But we'll get better at our graphics over time. But you are missing me pull up the tier list that Art of War came up with for chaos units from the new book
with my dots of questions.
Yes. So we have questions about everything with a blue dot, Anthony. Like, why is Harkin World Claimer up here? Why are Chosen this high? Why are Terminators all the way down here?
In the Codex.
Why are Chaos Terminators through the perfectly balanced and behind Forge Fiends?
That's
a Mauler Fiend,
buddy. Oh, Mauler Fiend, sorry.
They're lower than Chaos Bikers.
Yep.
So let's hear some explanations, Anthony. Let's talk.
Oh, God. Fuck. All right. So, if you, have been hit in the head really hard recently, a unit of Raptors buffed by Harkin is kind of similar to a unit of Zephyrum buffed... Oh, fuck, this is rough. By Fall. If you squint and don't look super carefully, they're similar.
What's the AP on that squad of Raptors?
It's not important. So what you do is you play British Children, and you spend 2 CP for Cruel Bladesmen, and that makes them AP2 base. And then every time you wound, you're fishing for 6s on your wound roll, obviously, because you always wound on 2s with Strength 4. So you'll fish for 6s, and on those 6s you'll be AP3, which is the same as the Zephyrum as long as they're not Bloody Rose.
How often do you play against non-Bloody Rose Zephyrum, just out of curiosity?
Just all the time.
That would give us some comparison points.
Just all the time, constantly, actually.
So Bloody Rose, they get the exploding 6s from turn 1, right? Like the native exploding 6 turn 1, yeah, like Bloody Rose.
You can put it on them. You can use your doctrine manipulation to get them there.
Yeah, how many CPs is that?
It's a warlord trait.
So too many.
One CP.
One pregame.
Yeah. Okay, and they can get 6 into auto wound like Zephyrum?
Yep.
+1 to wound strat like Zephyrum?
Yep.
But it's even 1 CP like Zephyr.
This is so expensive already. This is 5 or 6 CP on this activation, and we're not the right Legion, so we can't be full rerolls. But
Hey, they can be as long as you're next to the other Warlord trait for old grudges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why-
So that unit's amazing, and everybody should run 30 of them.
Yep.
So why are Lord Discordance just?
I also
just
like how
here?
Harkin is second, but the unit that you take him to buff is
in strong choices.
15th.
Yeah, his own power. It's his massive 7
Lightning claw
attacks with a
It's
lightning
2
claw.
damage lightning claw.
It's because he can throw that spear and do 3 damage in a line, right? That's why everybody's taking.
Yeah,
him.
you can kill your Dire Avenger and trigger Eldritch Storm.
You can kill one of your Terminators and then res it with Mr. Number 3 in the line there and get a shorter
so-
charge.
Actually, I did have a question about that. If I run 3 Masters of Possession and stab my own Obliterator 3 times to bring him closer back with the power from the third guy, how do I win the ITC?
You do that a lot, and then you
Mhm.
remember that Obliterators have more than 3 wounds, and you
But
get
it's 2
stabbed.
more wounds, buddy.
No, it's D3, isn't it?
No, it's flat 2.
Oh, sick.
That's why I got 3 of them, so I can stab him 6 for 6 mortals.
For 6 mortals. What do you do about the spillover damage in the following turn?
It's not like he's got 5 wounds. No, because he
Oh.
heals back with the last power.
Oh, right. Duh. Idiot.
I can't believe you
Amateur.
forget that. Then he drops in, and then they honor the prince for guaranteed charges.
You're gonna stab him, and then res him, and then honor the prince
Guaranteed charge.
with the
Obliterators.
Masters of Possession
With the Obliterators.
onto the Obliterators. That's the Masters of Possession start on the they deep strike. They come out of strategic.
Yeah,
reserve.
yeah. No. They come out my Dreadclaw.
Right. How could I forget? Duh. You know what you can use that Dreadclaw to do? You can deliver some Chosen
the next best unit in the game.
who have also somehow found them. They're the only. I'll note that the only unit in this S tier is Chosen. Like everything else is a character.
I think so far the one thing that I agree totally with is just Abaddon.
I'm
Yeah.
not even sure he's like. I'm not even sure he's gonna be a strong choice because he takes away all your fucking relics and warlock traits.
He doesn't take away your warlord traits. I
No,
looked
he takes
up.
away your relics.
He does take away your relics, which some of the
Maybe
things
your
they're about-
stratagems. Like we've not quite figured it out if you can have access to multiple chapters at once yet.
You can. Yeah, that part's fine. Yeah, because otherwise the Silent King doesn't give you his 4-up deny.
No, Sonic King has a different wording, buddy.
No, that's the same for Chaos as it is for.
I don't think anybody's gonna.
This is
look into
too.
the argument
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm not entertaining this rabbit hole because it's silly and nonsensical. But let's go back to the other silly and nonsensical thing we're doing, where I have to read this tier list.
Poor Lucius.
Dude,
Why
this
is
is your
Lucius
company.
just in the perfectly balanced zone?
Because he's an Emperor's Children, who we all know are terrible.
Yeah, who are, if I remember correctly, in the strong choice tier.
It's very
Mhm.
important to remember that because Noise Marines are only where are Noise Marines?
They're worse than Plague Marines.
Because Noise Marines are worse than Plague Marines, Emperor's Children are unplayable because you can't have Plague Marines. They're better units.
That's right. You also don't get Berserkers.
Yeah, but Berserkers are only perfectly balanced, so
That's true.
they're
Notably-
as perfectly balanced as Obliterators and Lords of Skulls.
Yeah, I'm curious what the ranking of Raptors is without
here.
Harkin.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think there's another tier below
Also, like-
YWY.
All right, listen. Walk me through this real quick. Someone else maybe explain this to me. We'll do this as a learning
Why is the
exercise.
Noctilith card not in S tier?
Nah, fuck that. Why is so those chosen that are in S tier? Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the Rhino, which is what I'm presuming is how those dudes get around, because otherwise they're just walking around a mighty 6 at a time. The Rhino is way down there in flawed choice.
It's
Below
TT1
Land
Lords, I'm
Raiders.
gutted. I really thought it was flat too.
What are they doing, bro? Like
They're foot slogging with Honor the Prince and Harkin rerolls.
they
Putting banners in the ground?
they don't get either of those.
They don't get Honor the Prince?
No, they get to honor the prince if they're Emperor's children, but we already went over this. You're not Emperor's children.
Harkin gives chapter master rerolls, doesn't it? It's just only reroll extra wounds for Raptors.
Oh Christ. Oh Lord in heaven.
If you run Abaddon and Harkin, you can chapter master reroll 2 squads of possessed.
This is the most upset I've ever been while opening this book, I'll have you know. Hold on. Jesus God. Fuck.
I think Archon Rahal said it best. You know, one of those cursed images that gets more cursed the more you look at it? Yeah.
It's like if I've been trying to design a tier list to trigger Anthony, I don't think I would have done it successfully as R4 have done by doing this in earnest.
Yeah, they you're right. He's the Black Legion chapter master. It's true. And if you target
No, Martine, this isn't the bully Anthony section.
Just to confirm, Anthony, if you ran Abaddon and Harkin, could you buff 2 squads of Raptors up to 12 rerolls to hit and wound?
You could. For 450 points, you two can
could have almost a squad as Ephraim.
Fuck.
Nurgle Matt is correct. It is the trolling tier lists, specifically trolling the Art of War tier lists section of our podcast.
God.
So where would we shift some of this stuff around, though, to be like modestly useful?
Yeah, everything I have that's in blue that should be up at least 1 tier or down at least 1, possibly 4 tiers.
Yeah, Harkin goes down in like flawed choice.
Okay.
Also, I just want to like real quick. Mark's been talking up Hellbrutes for like weeks, like on every piece of content that he's on, and yet still Hellbrutes have ended up in the absolute bottom in YGWY.
Next to Defilers.
And the Crown.
Which is better than people are giving it credit for. Invulnerable saves are cool, kids.
Yeah, they're actually not that bad, but like they're not great either. But anyway, yeah, Harkin should be down on like flawed choice or YGWY. Like Chosen should be in like perfectly balanced, probably. If we're using the tiers for like what the words are,
hold up.
where they're placed.
The thing next to the Demon Prince on the right, is that possessed?
Yep.
Does that mean the one that's between the Lord Discordant and Warp Talons is the cultists that come back?
It's the
that's the dark.
Left 2, buddy.
No.
Oh yeah, those are the accursed cultists. You are correct.
Oh no, I thought possessed were at least like 8th.
No, they're way back there. Actually, possessed are worse than Plague Marines in that image.
Yep, they are worse than Plague Marines in that image, and accursed cultists are better than Lord Discordants, Dark Apostles, Demon Princes, Noise Marines.
Maybe this tier list is like without buffs. No, then Chosen are terrible. That can't be right.
So are Raptors.
Right.
These are Warp Talons, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Warp Talons are okay.
They're fine. Perfectly balanced, though. Not strong choice.
Mm-hmm.
No, because if you run 6, they get an invulnerable save and they can do your rod for you.
NS.
What else would we shift around a little bit? So
Terminators go in tournament staples. If you're not taking 10 Terminators with the rune, get out of my face.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't
should
think
probably be in strong choice.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lord of Skulls should be in like triple S plus tier, but only if you're running exactly 3 of them in Iron Warriors because it's funny.
Unironically, 1 in Iron Warriors is real annoying.
Doesn't get wind rerolls in our outside of it. Because you don't
right. Yeah, you need 3.
If you did, yeah, absolutely. I'd be jamming that. I'd be jamming that in every list. It'd be great.
Yeah, that would be super strong. But yeah, you're right.
You can run 2 Abaddon and a Brass Scorpion.
Oh,
I like the Brass Scorpion idea. That sounds fun.
It's it's just cheap enough to fit Abaddon.
Assuming you're taking these things in their best specific legion, like Helldrakes are actually legitimately good in Iron Warriors.
I think Helldrakes seem fine and perfectly balanced. Like they're a little worse than some, a little better than other. Like they're where I'd have
Venom Crawlers are legitimately fine where they are. They're super strong for their cheapness.
Are Accursed Torment's troops or the elites?
Or who?
Accursed Torment. The comeback.
The Accursed Cultists are troops. They have obstacle and stuff. Yeah. They're good. They have a 6-up Feel No Pain. Like, they're not bad.
You just can't do actions.
Better than Possessed. But, like, Possessed are so clearly pushed to me. Like, Possessed would have been a perfectly acceptable data sheet at, like, 30, 35 points, then being 28 is nonsense. So, like, I get that they
I
don't
played against
afford
28
stuff.
of them. It was nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure it was just wild. Imagine they had been a
28 with,
real Legion.
with the Baleful Icon was not bad, but that's the no rerolls within a 6-inch bubble in melee.
Yeah.
It was a lot to chew through. Thankfully, Reaper of Lyrax said, "I got you, homie."
I don't even understand how you did that, but I don't want to think about that poor, horrible.
I can tell you exactly what happened. It's like, I looked at the board and went, "Should I go for the for the invulnerable save this turn and just run to the side, take a couple charges, and deal with it next turn, or should I take Exploding Six and just go to the middle where there were 3 characters and 23 possessed?" And I said, "Let's just go to the middle."
What I was going to say is I don't understand how you killed 10 possessed with 1 man without rerolls.
So I put D3 additional attacks on him and got 3 additional attacks, and then I rolled 4 6s to hit and no misses.
Oh.
And then I wounded 11 times.
What the fuck?
And then they all disappear.
And then he failed 7 out of 11 form vulnerable saves. And enough feel no pains to lose 8 more wounds, and that left him with 1 possessed on 1 wound. Who was stood in front of 9 warriors as their only target.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was. I would say it was unpleasant for the guy, but that would be underselling it.
Yeah. I think Martine asks a good question for this portion of the show as well. Is what loadout for the Terminators are you wanting to take? And I think this is a good question for both Anthony and for NS.
So it's super Legion dependent. To an extent, like in not Emperor's Children, you probably want some like combi meltas and stuff on them so that they can crack transports. As Emperor's Children, stuff that gets out of transports and wants to run into me just runs into me and then gets fault lasted and dies. So that's less of a concern for Emperor's Children specifically. But if I was playing like Creations or Word Bearers or Iron Warriors, I would definitely put some more melta things on them. But in general, you want to try and take 10 of them so you can take 2 Chain Fists, because the Chain Fist on the Sergeant and the Chain Fist on another dude are super good. Broadly, these guys are trying to punch knights and things like that, so that having a couple of flat 3 damage weapons in the unit helps. I also am at a point with there being so much -1 damage in the game that I kind of prefer D3 to flat 2. And then you take like as many power fists as you can, and you kind of leave a couple dudes with accursed weapons. Those are going to be the guys that end up touching cover to soak casualties for the rest of the unit. That's it. You almost always give them the Black Rune of Damnation so that the unit is -1 to wound.
Is that not cost only?
What?
Is that not cost only?
The Black Rune of Damnation?
No, I'm waiting up. That thing that good. It says Cultists can take this relic on that one.
Oh,
that makes people think. A lot of people have been saying, that's Cultist only. I didn't know if that was a question you'd had a lot. I was trying to.
No, I've never been asked that once. No one's not even Chaos players are that wacky. So so that's like the build, so to speak, for Terminators. You can do something similar with Possessed, but they don't get illusory supplications.
They're not mark.
Oh yes, in my head they autofill to Slanesh. They probably should just be Slanesh. Like, you can make them Nurgle and then, like, use your weird transhuman nonsense. It's still going to stop less damage than...
Doesn't stack with Black Rune.
Yeah, it doesn't stack with Black Rune, and it's still going to be worse than having the Feel No Pain on them most of the time. Tzeentch lets you ignore a failed save a turn. Same thing. It's probably worse than just having the Feel No Pain that you could have from being Slanesh. You can also advance and charge when you're Slanesh. Also, Slanesh gives you always strikes first, so you can't get fight lasted and dogpiled. Which helps a lot because being able to activate, as it turns out, is pretty cool to thin down some of the damage coming in. The unit does properly slam, like, once it's got all the fists and stuff in it. When I first got the book, I was making the mistake of taking, like, a 9-man Terminator unit and then not having quite the volume of fists to do damage, and they were just, like, a 300-point Ceramite delivery system for Abaddon and the Disco and such. Now that they actually have the right amount of fists, they fucking destroy stuff, so it's pretty sweet. I would recommend doing that. But yeah, that's basically it. Mark of Khorne is trolling, don't do that. And then Mark of Tzeentch isn't very good either, so just take
Undivided doesn't exist.
Yeah, Undivided doesn't do anything. You could not mark them, but that's stupid. Pay the 15 points. Yeah, you're putting all these other resources in, pay the 15 points to mark them Slanesh.
Okay, I broadly agree with Anthony on that one, so I'm not going to jump much further in. Emperor's Children, just max out the fists because you ignore the fuck, you know the might as well anyway.
Any
So-
good Legion has a way to ignore the penalty, or near enough as makes no difference between strats, buffs, and other things. Like
Or Abaddon, like there's ways.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine, broadly speaking. So like you don't really have to worry about that too.
And anyway, just roll forward. There's enough minus ones to hit in the game that you'll not even notice it.
Well, yeah, and or you're gonna be re-rolling from one source or another. Like there's so many things that may like just take the fists or better. Please be strength 8.
Strength 9 and corn.
Ugh. Yeah, then your corn. Fucking
Is it-
disgusting.
Yeah, but
filth.
Slanesh gets full rerolls against by Drakari.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. We are going to call it there on the Chaos chat because before Anthony bursts a blood vessel.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Because we have a new Chaos player for him, but he only wants to play Night Lords.
God. Fuck.
And I need my 6 players without guns.
Yeah, they need to be mutilators, and I will only play Night Lords. I won't make any
Yeah,
changes.
I'm using the mutilator models, you see. I've had them since I was 7 years old because those models came out in 2012.
Man,
yeah, no,
well,
that's the face I made when I realized that we were 10 years old.
damn it. No, you just made me feel so old in this.
Yeah.
I was 7 in 2012. I was like, oh, fuck.
No, I wasn't, but somebody conceivably could have been.
Yeah.
If you were like a 17-year-old getting to the tournament scene, you got your first bunch of mutilators at 12 years old when they just came out, you'd be 17. You'd been 7. Okay, let us move on finally to the questions. We are going to wrap up in about 20 minutes' time, so we're going to jump through some questions, then we'll do the closing, and then we will get going. So, as always, the questions will be coming from the Patreon Discord. I'm going to plug the Patreon Discord now because that's the time I feel like we have earned the right. If you're still listening to us, it probably means you enjoyed us. That means that there is a couple ways you can support us. You could either chuck a like, a comment, a subscription on our YouTube page, or on whatever podcast feed you're reading. Or you're listening to, don't read podcast feeds. That sounds difficult.
You could,
Yeah,
listen
no,
to, like, you could read like the
You
transcription.
could, and if you have programs that do that for you, power to you. I'm very impressed. You can leave a review on any kind of platform that you want, whether that's Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. They all take reviews, and they all help us out with discoverability, getting found, getting the good word out there, so that we can keep feeling motivated to do what we do. Because the second I feel a single shrapnel of demotivation, I'll burn you all to the ground, Anthony and Nathan.
Don't do it. I'll come over there and force motivate you.
Yeah, you're gonna get a passport.
Well, yeah, but I'll do it for that.
I
That's
have a
the-
passport.
You're a student, ex-student,
I'm not a student anymore. I am a doctor. Thank you very much.
ex-student.
I'm a.
You can't afford that. You're a PhD. You're just got a
true.
PhD.
I have my.
What if he
postdoc-
sells out? All he's got to do is sell out, bro.
It's true. So I do want to
No.
say, if you are a member of our Patreon, you get to vote on cool stuff. Like,
I was about to plug the Patreon. I've not done that yet.
I thought you were just plugging the Patreon.
No, I was
Fine.
reviewing us on
Stop.
iTunes.
Stop. Fine. Go ahead.
Nathan.
I got excited.
What you can also do is you can, if you have the money, the time, the availability, you can also support us on Patreon. That is patreon.com/statcheck. It is $5 a month for access to the Discord and also the ability to see all of the bonus content, which will be, fingers crossed, as long as we can get it working, starting on Friday. We will be doing an interview with Nathan as the first piece of content. I'll be going through all of the core Fight Club or core Stat Check members in the first couple of weeks to try and get through the way I want the other format to do before I start reaching out to people beyond that. So I am looking forward to getting that up and running. Also, Anthony and Nathan have promised that they will eventually do some and maybe even propose plans for what they're going to do. You can also join us on the $15 a month tier, where you get to watch Anthony have a math lesson every so often, which I think is the funniest shit.
It's gonna be so rough, dude.
We'll probably rotate that a few times, but if you guys really want me to keep teaching Anthony math, you can just keep signing up for it. One day it might turn into biology lessons, but at first, I'm lesson planning right now, and my wife is helping me do it because she's actually taught undergraduate math classes before in the form of statistics classes.
Oh, this is going to be great.
So
This is
I'm
nuts.
really assembling an actual course out of this with PowerPoint presentations and stuff
Oh
and
my
examples.
God,
So it'll be worth it. If more people sign up for the $15 tier, the more work I will put into this because it's more fun for me at that point.
You know, it'd be really funny if you do actually like a great job, and this ends up being like how people learn math. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it. I'm going to put enough effort into it that it's not going to be like amazing, but there will be a lot of Warhammer 40K focused examples for Anthony.
Well, that's good. And I'm glad you guys are psychotic enough to do that. So, yeah, that is the ways that you can support us. Otherwise, you can be here, be in the YouTube live stream, be in the YouTube comments. Just be around with us. We're doing this for the fun of it because it's something we enjoy. And you guys letting us know that you enjoy it is the best thing. What?
I just got torched by Sam. Sorry.
Okay.
It's a special kind of something when even Sam is torching you in chat.
He's the nicest person.
I know, that's exactly it. You got Sam torching you, you got problems.
Yeah.
So yes, we appreciate any and all support that any of you can give us because that is what keeps us going, keeps us doing what we do. The Discord has been popping off recently. We have already got copy pastes and memes and all that good stuff. Yeah, we will be working on some of the branding stuff over the next couple of weeks. So we would hopefully have a new and updated logo to go with our current yin and yang, but it's letters.
Yeah, we're going to meet with a designer on Thursday.
Woo!
And what I will say, the best thing you can do for the Discord is you get to ask questions and not have to be here for the live stream. So if you want to ask us questions and be guaranteed to have them answered, get in the Discord or be in the comments on the live stream. We will answer any and all questions we can until I have to go to bed. Speaking of, let's do questions. So we're going to jump over to the Discord and get started at the top. Where did I post the meme that signed off Alex?
It's quite a far ways. The first question is after Alex's stuff.
What's scarier, Germany's NIDS or Spain's Tau? So Spain's Tau, for context, is a crisis commander, 3 squads of crew, 15 crisis suits with plasma and cyclic ion blasters, 9 drones each.
My mans were like, nerfs? What nerfs? I don't understand.
Nerfs just mean I had to cut the other dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, they cut the rest.
What's Germany's NIDS?
3 neurothropes, 3 squads of 3 neurothropes and 3 squads of zoanthropes.
What's the rest?
I don't care.
I mean,
I will pull the rest up now.
I'm definitely more scared just off that brief summary of the Spain's Tau. Although, did they have an ethereal in that?
Yeah, I think there's an ethereal in there as well.
Because I was going to say, if there's no ethereal in it, I'm a little bit less scared, but still quite scared.
Oh, it's also Sasia for -1 to hit over 12 inches.
That's annoying.
That's definitely annoying. I mean, if Germany's NIDS somehow has like some crazy tech after 3 neurothropes and 3 zoanthropes,
I mean, it could just have 27 warriors after that. Like,
it's true.
It does not have a hive turret. I can tell you that for free.
Zoanthropes are actually pretty decent at just putting out damage and walking up the midfield and not dying.
They hurt so bad.
That 3+ D6 when you super smite on them, and I'm assuming they have synaptic tendrils on something to spread around.
3 neuros.
I guess you have 3 neuros anyway, so it doesn't even matter. But you just put them all on 3d6 cast, and they just are always super smiting at 3+ d6, just putting out silly amounts of smite damage.
9 plus 3d6 mortal wounds.
Mm-hmm. Just all the time. That is most of a unit of crisis suits, actually. 9 plus 3d6 on average. Yeah. That's most of a unit of crisis suits.
Yeah, pretty much.
That guy really hates Death Guard. He's like, fuck you.
Death Guard. No, Death Guard
also
yeah, that stops it.
Yeah.
Also, sisters don't like that either.
7.5 plus 2.5 d6.
Nice,
Battle Sisters also don't like all that stuff. You put that into a unit of Zephyr, they just go away.
Okay, Michael Jemica also has 2 Harpies, 2 Parasites of Mortrex, a Biovore, 2 squads of Gargoyles, a squad of 10 Termagants, a Lictor, and a Maleceptor.
Psychic Battery, the army. Ouch. I like that list. I actually like that list a lot. I want Innis to send me that because I just want to play it against somebody and make them sad.
That's a lot of stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It turns out when you cut the Tyrant and Tyrant Guard, you get like 400 points of extra stuff in the Tyrant list.
I was looking at that recently after looking at some of the lists that don't have Hive Tyrants. I was like, yeah, you put a solid 400 points of stuff into your list when you just put a Winged Hive Tyrant and some Tyrant Guard in it.
Yeah, and they're really good, but there is definitely more arguments for not taking them now than there used to be.
Yeah, some people like the Broodlord for the cover imperative as well. Also the ability to infiltrate.
Okay, so the list is a commander in crisis and with the give a unit obsec every turn as well. That also gives you the normal modifiers of 4x an ethereal, 3 squads of Crit Carnivore, 3 squads of Crit Hounds, and 3 squads of Crisis Battlesuits with 7 shield, 2 marker, 9 shield, and then 2 marker, 3 shield.
It's the towel list. It's not close. Like that mids list is scary sometimes. The towel list is
all the time.
Nightmare fuel.
Yeah, that's the I'm going to pick up your squads of warriors through transhuman because I don't give a fuck list.
Yeah, it never even mattered.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next question because that took way longer than I thought it was going to find lists because I, for some reason, couldn't find Germany. Like my PDF wasn't letting me search for the word Germany, so it took me so long.
I can do it. The next question is also from Chris in our Discord, and it's why should the WTC give up on formatting next year and just let everyone submit paper napkins with a 10-word maximum on the day next year?
Because it would be too strong for America.
It's true. Nobody be able to read our handwriting either.
That is just an America buff.
Kelstar, yes, Germany has the dirge heart on one of its parasites.
Wait, what is that? Oh,
if you get hit, you just lose OBSEC.
That seems bad.
So they can strip OBSEC with the flyover, strip OBSEC with the regular stab, and strip OBSEC from a third unit with the dirge heart.
Ouch. The next question is, when building a comp for team events, what makes a good attacker/defender, and how do you account for faction specialists?
Just put them on good lists, bro. If they're good players, they'll adapt.
Well, not if they're Tyranids.
We don't have to. We adapt pregame.
I was gonna say, yeah, you can't perfectly adapt anymore.
No, faction specialist you work around or you don't take. If you bring a faction specialist into your team, you kind of have to accept that they're going to be a faction specialist. There is benefits and downsides to that. There was another part of that question that you skipped over, which is there was some discussion about random appearance at team events. Why is that a bad idea? Because it hurts
it's because there wasn't a question; it was just a statement.
What do you think, Ennis? What would happen if pairings were random for teams?
There would be very little point to running team events.
It would just be a mini singles event.
It's just a singles event where you can't play 7 of the players. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you get screwed over by randomness instead of your captain being an asshole.
Do you not want to just play like a bunch of RTT first rounds?
Not really.
For national pride?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the best weapon on Security and Rust Stalkers? The one that's +1 strength and AP3 instead of strength user and AP dash?
Yep.
I feel like that's not much of a question. Thanks, Paul. How drunk would you need to be to run a Chaos Predator or Annihilator?
Not very.
Drunk enough, but not like blitzed.
Do the Chaos Predator Annihilators get D6+2 las cannons as well?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound... I mean, it's still bad, but it doesn't sound as bad anymore.
I'm playing Havocs right now, bro. It's like it's getting weird out there. Fuck.
Do they have D6+2 las cannons?
No.
Okay.
Are you sad you brought Admech over Necrons? No, I'm a little disappointed we brought Drakari over Necrons, but it would have been a lot of effort. And I'm still happy with our Admech list, and I'm happy with our Drakari list as well. And I don't think Necrons are so outlandishly above the power level that we need to have them. I mean, those idiots didn't bring knights, so it's their own problems.
That's all
right. Did the list reveal change your threat estimation of any teams? Anthony, do you want to go first on that
one? Not really. I have a very weird mindset when it comes to like threat estimation stuff. I just assume that every single thing I'm going to play against has a percentage chance to beat me. And that's how I'm going to approach the WTC as well. Like, we're not like a super established team by any stretch of the imagination. So I think doing anything but going into this event being like, oh yeah, we've never played this team, they might just stomp us, is silly. And without having the time, frankly, to sit down and go through every country's full list lineup, it's better to just take the approach of like, the people that are doing the pairings are going to do that. That can be their job. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to just...
You're going to need to do a matrix, buddy. You know that, right?
Yeah, we've already done a lot of that stuff, but that's going to be a lot more like, I can take them one at a time and evaluate based on like what my list is meant to do into them, rather than like the threat estimation of teams as a whole. I don't know. I'm just a cog in the machine, so I'm trying to make sure that I do a good job of being a cog rather than trying to be the machine.
That's fair.
Fair.
I sat there and kind of went through a bunch in the car on the way down, but I only really read the teams that I was interested in already. So it's kind of become self-fulfilling where I've read Germany's lists and Spain's lists and England's lists and been like, yep, these teams seem as good as I thought they were. And then I read America's list and we're like, I'm disappointed in you guys. And
yeah. Don't worry. I'm sure lots of people will either be disappointed or getting leveled by us.
50-50, man. And honestly, we're Scotland. Like we're winning either way. Either we got to play you or we beat you. Like
Right.
it's no downside for us.
They're gonna have a good time. Maybe not
exactly.
a long time.
It'll be a long time. It's 7 4.5 hour rounds, buddy.
Yeah, you're there for a long time.
You're there for a long time, not a good time.
It becomes less of a good time as the long time proceeds.
Exactly. How do you combat hobby lag when changes happen or new books come out and you want to play a new army or a completely different list of your current army?
I have someone commission it. I cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Just get on with it and suffer.
I play in Crusade leagues and it helps me hobby.
I keep lowering my standards on what finished painting means.
I've been doing the opposite. I keep raising my standards and it's made me slower.
I'm just like, there are models that I took to. The last time I had a fully painted army at a tournament was Manchester back in March. Since then, I've just been slowly adding almost painted stuff to my lists. And like the undersides of my gargoyles' wings still aren't like dry brushed yet. Like that level of.
And this is at the I'm not here to win the best painted award. I'm here to win the best general award.
Exactly. It's the new job combined with that has really put a damper on my painting time. And then I spend all my hobby time on Legion anyway, so
Well, yeah.
Fair.
You should hobby for the game that you're playing.
Don't have any standards to begin with. No, I have played events with models blue databases. Yes. Okay. What list or two truly caught you surprised in how operator worked in terms of uniqueness in tech piece and units? And during this phase between list reveals and the event, was the biggest thing you can do to prepare? And what are some forwards, previous or current year list errors? Okay, go tackle those one at a time, Sam, because you decided to ask bloody essays. What list or two truly caught you by surprise in how operator worked in terms of uniqueness, i.e. tech pieces and units? I haven't really seen anything so far that was completely outlandish. I really like the Swedish Tyranid list, which is a behemoth Carnifex spam that's aiming to put them on a dense board and have them all on 0+ saves against shooting, which seems really, really interesting with the double cover benefit. I don't love it personally. Like, I don't think I would enjoy playing it, but I really understand that. I really like the theory behind it. I think the guy might have issues with lists that don't care about that, but anything that does care about that is going to have a real bad time. And then the German Tyranid list is really, really cool. But obviously, that's been kind of my focus. I really like some of the Necro lists we've seen. There's some really, really different variants. And Alex Harrison's Freeblade Knights list is probably my favorite list I've seen from the event so far, which is just stacking up 4 Performable Save -1 damage Armigers, which just T-pose at you and say, come on then. We go transhuman in combat. Transhuman in combat. You're not going to have fun killing me. Yep. I'm a big fan of that list as well.
Yeah, that list is cool.
Okay, next we have during the phases between list reveal and the event, what's the biggest thing you can prepare? Read the lists, practice against the list you don't understand. If you don't understand the list, it's probably because it's being played by somebody who has a better plan for it than you do. It always happens like this, where some of the best teams will have lists that look completely bonkers, and it's to do one specific thing in pairings that it will do so incredibly well that you will not expect it because they've practiced.
List full of Death Company.
No, Josh Roberts' Blood Angels list is just Josh really, really missing fusion pistols.
Yeah.
I would think it was like 90% practice. Like all the teams are probably just practicing against the list they don't understand fully and just playing them to see how they actually work.
There's probably a good bit of practicing pairing ladders going as well.
I just
practice pairing rounds is always good fun. What are some fun stories of previous or current year list errors? Well, there's this one Battle Scribe.
Did the country that had 2 of the same list get fixed yet?
Yeah, the finish got fixed. They missed their Chaos Knight list that. One year, our Death Watch and Blood Angels player accidentally submitted not enough reinforcement points for his Collected Assassin. That wasn't fun.
Oops.
Yeah, he had 85 points spare, not 95 points spare, or 75 points, not 85, whatever it was at the time. There's always some like this. Like this year, there's a team that missed the Yanari criteria that you have to have many Eldar units as non-Eldar units in a slot, and has 1 extra dedicated transport. Finland submitted 3 Talamasters in a single detachment where you only can have 2 lieutenants. There's always little stuff like that doesn't get count, but I'm struggling to think of any particular stories from previous years because the last WTC was 3 years ago, and I frankly don't remember that far back in terms of like list submission stuff. Like I could tell you some post-event stories, which is a different question that you didn't ask, Sam, because you're not getting those. Actually, again, next week we need the engagement.
We'll put that in bonus content.
There you go.
But yeah, some specific pre-submission stories. I would have to go back and look on like the Warhammer forum, and I'm not doing that.
There's been a lot of alcohol between then and here as well.
A lot of alcohol between then and there.
Yeah.
There's a video example that we aren't going to talk about because it would require me to do more sharing, and I don't want to.
Yep.
But if you join our Discord, you can weigh in on if this model is in fact a hammerhead, even though the dimensions and silhouette are totally different for the WTC.
Question for Anthony. Someone has a gun to your head and says you either need to put assault centurion in your VA list or take a bullet to the brain. Do you have an open or closed casket funeral or choose cremation?
It's cremation. It's not even close. Everything else is just like, jerking off for your dead body.
You're attending your first multi-day tournaments in 4th edition in a month. Do you take the army you know best and have all the hobby completed for, which is Death Guard, or the one you're way behind hobby on and don't know as well, which is Chaos Knights, or do you say screw it, look at your bank account, social calendar, and decide you're going to start bringing CSM?
I'm Chaos Knights in that scenario.
It's your first event, buddy. Take what's going to make this low stress for you as possible, and focus on having a good time at it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Chaos
what I would
Knights,
say.
by the way.
Chaos Knights will be the easier army to play. It also, Chaos Knights aren't that terrible to hobby up to tabletop standard.
Yeah.
Bikes!
Bikes, yeah. You actually
Bikes.
go to do CSM and you do all bikes.
Do you guys know the bikes reference? Like, do you know what that's from?
No.
It's from
Vaguely.
Tom Segura, his joke about he has this like really long-winded bit about Beyond Scared Straight or something like that. Go look that up. It's real funny. I'm not going to do the whole bit now because it's horrible, and I don't feel like getting canceled because I'm not a professional comedian. But go look it up. It's real funny.
Anthony's not a professional comedian. He's a professional joke. So
No, I'm a professional clown, sir. There's a difference.
okay. I think that's
What's the
it.
secret to winning at blackjack?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't have a.
Oh, there's one more question. Can
Can
Harpy
Harpy
Spore
Spore
Mines
Mines-
move after
No.
they are placed?
No, and you're a bad person for asking.
Why can't they move, though, Innes? I need to know this because I want to know why I'm terrible for moving Spore Mines. They have a data sheet. It has a move characteristic. Why
They were
can't I
just
not
set
move
up.
them?
They were just set up. Were they on the battlefield at the start of the turn?
Oh, I thought they meant turns afterwards. I thought they just couldn't move at all.
No.
And I was very
That was the turn
confused.
The turn they're set up.
Oh, then no, don't do that.
No, it says
Maybe-
after,
No.
after they are placed, it says, which is like, I don't know. I guess you could read that
Ah.
one of two ways. Yeah.
So I read it in the they can never move way, and that's why I was always confused by this question. But I see what
Yeah.
you mean because I'd already accepted the fact that you can't place things that come in from
And then
reserves
move
and
them.
move them.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Core rules.
Yeah, they are. They weren't on the board at the start of the turn. They are a reinforcement unit. That means they can't move.
Yep.
Also, yeah, that's fine.
Always hit on 20. I genuinely would have won a hand that I lost otherwise if I'd hit on 20. And it was the most results-based analysis I've ever done. But it hurt me. It hurt my soul losing 20 quid on that.
Do you
I was
ever
like, "Oh, if I just hit."
you ever play against someone who's like, I'm not going to CP with this, but I'm going to re-roll it just to see what it would do? And I'm like, bro, that way is only pain. Like, don't do that. It's only suffering.
It's true. Don't
No,
look at
because sometimes
don't
you
look at the
fail and you're
possible
like,
hand.
okay, it was okay.
But
Yeah.
like,
Just don't look at that hand. You don't want it.
yeah, the upside is not worth the downside.
It depends on what you hate yourself. Like,
Ah.
you're just clearly not Scottish enough.
That's true.
Or
I'm not.
or Catholic enough, apparently.
Yeah, I ditched that shit real young. I was like, wait a minute, Santa's fake? So what about this other thing you make me go in a building for? This doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway,
School, fuck it.
All of the science theory fake because I have
Yeah.
to go inside a building for it.
yeah, it's extra steps. This is stupid.
This is why we're taking Anthony back to math class.
Yeah.
Okay, that is going to do it for us for this episode because I don't know what's happening anymore.
Did you ever?
I would say we lost the plot, but I don't think we started episode 1 with the plot. So
Yeah.
thank
There's
you
no plot
everybody
here.
for being here. This has been episode 2, formatting errors. Do all the things we said earlier. I'm not going to repeat it again because we're better than that. So probably at least episode 1 and 2 will make you think we're cool, and then we'll start sliding in the ad reads after that. And this episode has not been sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, but
Maybe one day in the future it
Could
will be.
If you want to sponsor our podcast, let us know.
Yeah, hit us up. If you have something you want us to say.
we have low morals and an audience.
That's
Yep.
true. Low
All
morals
these-
is the key portion. We will shill. I'm gonna suffer through math because you guys said I had to.
If you guys give us enough money, we'll teach Anthony more stuff. I swear.
Yeah. I don't know why it's so fun to watch me struggle to learn things, but okay.
And we're probably going to look at rotating what the bonus content tier is, so we're not making Anthony suffer through math forever. We'll probably stick with it for a quarter to 4 months.
If people stay sub to it, I'll suffer through that forever. We can just add things.
Okay,
I was gonna say
we may add more tiers you can spend more money on.
As long as you stay at 10 people. 10 people
really
sub to that
offer
tier,
microtransactions.
we will continue teaching Anthony different stuff.
So
We'll just rotate topics.
The number one podcast with microtransactions. That's basically what I'm
That's
getting.
it.
That's
true.
it.
That's what we're here for.
The microtransaction is giving Anthony free college, though, basically.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not college he wants, but
No, I didn't even want the college I went to. I didn't even finish. I went to 5 colleges. I have 0 degrees.
Oh, man. Wandering Worm asked a good question. How much more for calculus? You guys need to sign up at $30 a month for that one.
No,
I'm not kidding it, guys. I'm not teaching Anthony calculus.
Calculus isn't even hard.
I
But
just don't
Martijn
wanna-
has offered to teach him Dutch.
Actually, I want somebody to teach us like Finnish or something like that, just for fun.
Yeah, just teach me Elvish. Just whatever.
We'll
You have
teach
to join the-
Klingon and give you
Yeah.
Surströmming.
You have to join the Patreon though, and we have to create a tier for it. We'll create a linguistic
Dutch is
adventure.
a
tier.
linguistic adventure for sure. You can just learn German and forget half of it and fill the rest in with English.
Either we torture Anthony or create a monster. Either way, this will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm just like this. I'm this weird amalgamation of half facts because I've only learned things for like 2 months at a clip.
You'll be really interesting at parties.
Yeah, there you go. You can add a language.
He's got
change.
knife wounds. How much more interesting?
Yeah, I do.
It's true, but some people don't want to hear about the knife wounds. They want to hear him
Speak
swoon
Dutch.
Dutch,
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
tell them about math.
yeah. Just lean real close and hit him with that omelette du fromage from Dexter.
And on that note, thank you everybody for joining us for another episode of Stat Check. We will be back on hopefully Friday for people with bonus content. We will be back next Tuesday for everybody else. We'll see you on the podcast feeds. We'll see you on YouTube and run the music, which is the sum is our intro music. We will change that eventually, but for now, run the intro music because it's a banger.
Thank you for all the fish, fuckers.